guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Yeah. It's playoff week in the NFL, and it's stretch time, and write that down, gentlemen. The only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics. We put those statistics right next to our names and reputations, so there's no doubt when Judd's going to admit that he's wrong every Wednesday on Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily.
You forced me to. Like, I tried for a long time to be like, I'm never wrong. And you're like, we have to hold you accountable somehow, Judd. And then write that down was born.
Transparency is a big part of our ethos here at Score North. Mackey and Judd, Purple Daily. And here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate, you can send us a message through the Score North app. But let's make it official. Let's fire up the actual. We have a theme song here. Let's fire it up, Dex.
Yeah, most sports talking heads make predictions, then hope you forget about how wrong they were. But not Mackey and Judd.
Write this down.
This is the big leagues, where we own our terrible predictions.
Write that down.
And keep track of each other's batting averages. It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackey and Judd.
Now, headed into the week, Declan has a big batting average lead. He's been largely well over 400 the whole year, but now the average has kind of crept back toward 400. The season ends right after the Super Bowl, so we have about a month left here. The home run battle very much up for grabs. Very much up for grabs here, boys. But because the NFL season just ended, we have a ton of stuff coming off the board on both shows, because a lot of people made season-long NFL predictions that we need to account for here. So let's start with you, Judd. And then, by the way, we're going to get to Ali. He's going to be our guest listener predictor today. So he's hanging out in the green room while we go through this accountability session. Kind of a mixed bag for you, Judley. You said the U.S. men's hockey team would win the World Juniors tournament. We'll start with the bad. What happened there? I think you're
muted, Judge Algett.
Sorry about that. Immediately derailed.
First time on a video call.
Immediately derailed.
What, the U.S. men's hockey team or you?
Or you?
Well, both of us. Both of us. I was very disappointed in my U.S. hockey team.
You said Dalvin would finish top 3 among running backs in receptions this season.
That's a well-earned L right there. I was so far off on that one.
You were very adamant that they would find a way to use him like Marshall Faulk in his prime back in the late 90s.
You know what amazed me? I felt like he dropped a lot of passes.
He's not as good of a receiving running back as you would think.
No, you're right. But I mean, he made that unbelievable catch last year in the primetime game against the Steelers. And like, he had made some catches. So I'm like, okay, this makes some sense. But you're right.
Yeah.
He just flat out wasn't that good.
You might need to help me on this one. I think the answer is no, but you said Marco Rossi will center Kaprizov and Zuccarello by the end of the month. We needed visual evidence. Yeah.
Nope. He's not even here. So
yeah, he's in Iowa.
You said Kaprizov will have a goal and at least 3 points against the Rangers last night. He did have the goal, but that was where it stopped. Yeah. He's too selfish to get a couple assists apparently in that game last night, from what I saw.
I thought he might have a couple goals and an assist, because I think I said at least a goal, but yes, he did have a goal, but doesn't matter.
On the positive side, so we had to revisit Carlos Correa predictions that we took off the board in early December. Yeah, it's part of the integrity of the game.
Yep.
You initially said let's see here. No, this one, you said this one after the Correa signing, but it still counts here because Correa signed. It's official this morning. The Twins will sign a player to their major league roster and or a player on their active roster will be traded. And I think you meant, I don't know if you put a date on that.
I said that last week.
I said this week.
Yeah. Yes. And so it did take place because the Correa signing counts. So you're correct.
And then you said before the Correa stuff,
yes,
like before it played out at all, you said Correa will return to the Twins on a long-term contract, a 3-year guaranteed contract or more, which is a home run.
Yeah.
Because he had other suitors if you go back like a month. And then the way it played out, it's definitely a home run. But nice job there, Judd. That was initially an L for you, and now it's been turned around to a W.
Yep. I'm very happy about that.
All right, kind of a bloodbath here for Old Macadac. I said the Twins will not sign a player to a $100 million contract. Twins will spend more on a new video board, $33 million, than any individual free agent's average annual value. Well, if you divide $200 million by 6, it is 33 point something million. So
I love the spirit, though. Great prediction. Great
Joe
miss.
Polat showed you doubter.
Dude, he probably listened to that prediction and said, "What will it take for a $33.1 million average annual value?"
Exactly.
Just
He
fill
said,
in the check.
"Old Macadac, I am going to show him."
Negative. It was negative. Mackey. Somebody yesterday. A bunch of people on Twitter. Are you guys finally gonna apologize to the Twins for all the criticism? No. They haven't won a playoff game since 2004.
Yeah.
It's great that they re-signed Carlos Correa, but you need to go win games on the field.
Yeah.
Go win games on the field. Go win a bleeping playoff game, for God's sakes, before you take victory laps all over Minneapolis.
I was going to say, any victory lap for this front office still is not the right way to go about it.
It can be, hey, nice, awesome. If he's healthy, you had 2 other medical staff say, no. Even when it was like, what about a 6-year contract? The Mets are like, 150? The Twins are like 200.
Yep. Mets lowballed him.
Oh man. That tells you, by the way, what the Twins had to pay in sort of tax, right?
Oh God. Yeah.
Hey, if you want Correa, so the offer is 157 over 6. Okay, so we'll do 160 over 6. No. 170 over 6? No. 190 over 6? Keep going. 200 over 6. Okay. But they got him.
Leg is hanging by a thread.
I think he'll be fine over 6 years. I think it's like the 10th year that you kind of worry about with.
He'll get 4 years for sure.
I said that Correa will sign with a team that's not the Twins, but there will be a report that they made a competitive offer, and that was initially deemed correct, but no, it's not. I said the Lions would make the playoffs. I said that like a few weeks ago, I think. Ant will get a triple-double sometime in the last week. Steelers will make the playoffs and win a wild card round. Wrong. Justin Herbert will be a top 3 QBR quarterback this year. He was very good, but he wasn't top 3 QBR. And then a WWE parlay before they get sold off to the Saudi blood money group. Ciampa will turn on The Miz, and he will hold a championship of some kind by the end of the year. But I did tell you guys that the Lions would finish above 500. I said this with like a month to go. They had to win 3 of their last 4, so maybe not quite a home run. But before the season, I told you the Jaguars would win the AFC South.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a dinger. That's
all right, listeners.
Oh.
Start with the bad here. I'm not going to buzz all these because it'll get annoying. We'll just say that a lot of these are wrong. Corey said Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook would all start 4 quarters against the Bears. They did not. Bubba said NDSU would win the national championship in the FCS. They got beat. Travis said Za'Darius will win Defensive Player of the Year. I guess that hasn't happened yet, but he's not going to. But he said he'll have the most sacks and pressures in the NFL. He did not. Eric said Dalvin will accumulate 1,500 total yards or more. 1,468.
Oh, bad beat.
Bad beat.
Kirk will set a career high in touchdowns and picks. Got half that right. He did set the picks career high. Dalvin, that's from Matt. Chris said Dalvin will lead the NFL in rushes of 20-plus yards. Matt said Danielle Hunter and Za'Darius will combine for 28 games, 22 sacks, and a Pro Bowl. They did not get the 22 sacks. They got 20 and a half combined. Stewart said the Vikings will not win the North, which is wrong. And Jason said Cousins will miss at least a game because of injury. How dare you doubt the durability of Kirk?
No faith.
A few more wrong ones for the listeners. Eric said in the upcoming NFL season, non-quarterbacks will complete at least 30 total passes. Actually, no, I misread this one. I thought he meant that at least 30 non-quarterbacks will complete passes.
Yeah, and it's still wrong.
No. Non-quarterbacks completed 50 passes this year in the NFL, but only 27 of them completed at least one pass. Unless you count Taysom Hill. Do we count Taysom Hill? Is he a quarterback?
We count Taysom Hill. Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Okay, then this one's wrong.
Yeah.
Because he had half of them.
Yeah.
maybe some controversy on his positional listing, but if he's listed as a quarterback,
Eric might want to appeal this.
Eric, if you feel like you've been wrong here,
he self-reported it to Twitter and email that this was wrong.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, then he did. Never mind.
Nick said Vikings will finish above 500, win at least 4 divisional games. Correct. Kirk passer rating over 100. Not quite. And then Arjun said the Vikings will be one of the 5 least penalized teams in 2022. They were one of the 10 least penalized teams, not 5. But the listeners had a big comeback here.
Oh, my God.
Look at this.
Oh, my God.
Look at the dingers here, boys.
Awesome. It's like batting practice.
Michael said Kirk will set a career high in picks and won't line up in the wrong offensive under the wrong offensive lineman all season. I think saying that he's going to set a career high in picks is a home run.
Zone. Nice little red zone. Deep red touchdown there. Low goal line fade.
Kyle said the Lions will win at least 4 divisional games. He said that before the season. Yeah. They were terrible last year. They didn't even win 4 total games last year. It's pretty good. They went 5-1 in the NFC North, the Lions. They beat the Bears twice. They beat the Vikings once, and they beat the Packers twice. 5-1. Best divisional record.
Your 8th ranked team in the National Football League.
And I stand by that. I think the Lions would be favored over the Giants. They'd be favored over the Vikings. They were favored over the Vikings in the second game, weren't they? And they beat them.
Yeah.
In Detroit, yeah.
Josh said by the end of the NFL regular season, Kirk would throw for as many interceptions as Judd has touchdowns on Mackey and Judd. You do not have as many or more. So, Judd, you don't have 14 touchdowns.
That's a shot at me. I'm very hurt by Josh.
Check down, Judd. Christian said JJ will lead the NFL in total receiving yards. That's a dinger. And Michael said JJ will go for at least 1,500 receiving yards and at least 126 catches, which would be the second one a career high. That's a dinger. What a bounce back for the listeners there.
That's a lot of green.
And then, Dex, you said Correa would sign a contract between, like, whenever you made this prediction in December and the end of the month of December. That was initially correct. It is now incorrect. He didn't ever sign a contract with those teams. But then you had a home run here this week. You said the Wild would beat the Lightning by 2 or more goals, and the Wild would tally at least 5 goals as part of that victory. 5-1. Look at Dex. Mm-hmm. So with that, Declan slips below 400 for the first time pretty much all season. Down to 399. Judd, you're at 333, so Declan still holds a 66-point lead in the batting average race.
It's over.
I'm at 283. Listeners at 279. The home run race is spicy, though. Listeners up to 20 bombs. Declan at 16. I have 15. Judd finally in double digits with 10 home runs on the season.
10 home runs.
All time, Judd with 255 hits leads the league. Listeners creeping in on 40 career home runs. They're at 39 career home runs right now. To my 30, to Judd's 25. Declan, even though Declan didn't have stats count for him in 2018 or 19, about to catch Judd in home runs. What do you have to say for yourself? Check down, Charlie. Bunting Barry.
I am a spray predictor. I spray the ball all over the ballpark, okay? Don't need power. I need spray the ball. I need that average.
A spray predictor.
Spray predictor. That sounds weird, but it's what it is. It is what it is.
Let's get our guest listener predictor, Ali, in here. What's going on, Ali? Tell the audience, when did you become a tortured Minnesota sports fan?
I've been Vikings, Timberwolves, and Twins since 1996. It was Marbury's rookie year, KG's second year, and Kirby Puckett just retired. I only watched a little bit of Kirby, unfortunately. But he's still my favorite MLB player of all time. So
so Kirby woke up with blindness in his eye, and there's a lot of what ifs in Minnesota sports. I would love to see the 1996 Twins lineup that already had like Paul Molitor, Chuck Knobloch, a bunch of other dudes, Marty Cordova, Rookie of the Year, and you plop Kirby Puckett in the middle of that lineup too. That Twins team might have been. They couldn't pitch, of course, Judd.
I was going to say would
have been 10 to 9 games every single night. So
I'm sorry, remember Rick Aguilera was a starter for them that year?
That's right. Yeah, they moved. They were so desperate for starters, they moved. And then Eddie Gordado was, I think, a starter in 1996. It was rough. So we're going to start with Ali, and then we're going to go over to Judd, Declan, back to me. 3 chips around the room here. Pretty wide open here, Ali. Anything you want to predict, it must be quantifiable in some form. So lead us
Write
off.
it down. You like writing things down.
Okay, so Vikings game this Sunday. I have them winning 31-24. Justin Jefferson gets 2 touchdowns, and my bold prediction is Harrison Smith gets 2 interceptions.
Whoa, this is all in a parlay here? This is all one.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's all for this Sunday. I'm sorry.
No, I know, but this is all part of one parlay prediction, right?
Oh, okay.
So, did you just make all 3 of your predictions in one, or do you have more? Do you have more predictions?
Oh, I mean, I thought that was it. I'm sorry, but
Okay. So give us your first prediction, and then we'll go one at a time around the room here. Give us your first prediction.
Okay. Yeah. Again, Vikings win 31-24.
Okay.
Against the Giants. All right.
So an exact score prediction from
I like it.
Ali here. If that hits, it is a home run. If you make an exact
Massive
score
touchdown.
prediction, it's
yeah.
definitely a home run. All right, over to Judd. Your first prediction.
All right, with Carlos Correa returning to the Twins, and he's set to be introduced actually shortly here in the time we're taping this podcast. Write this down. Carlos Correa will mention his wife's love of Minnesota in his press conference that he does announcing his return. So he's going to talk about, this is where God wanted me.
He already said that
exactly.
on Instagram, by the way.
So that's already been said. Right.
Amazing.
So the write that down is he will talk about that his wife loves it here as he talks about why he's back.
Specifically his wife.
Yes, he will mention his wife, not
Okay.
him. He will say, my family and my wife.
Hold on, though. No. Is it wife?
He'll say
or
wife.
is it family?
No,
Because,
he will. No, I'm predicting he will say his wife.
His wife. Got it.
Yes, he will
Don't
mention
say
his
if it's
wife.
family. You're not backdooring into this one. That's all I'm saying.
No. I just said he might say something. I'm giving you the example of what he might say. But yes, he will definitely say his wife.
Okay.
Are you clear, Declan?
Yeah.
It's not that hard. He will say his wife.
But then you said family, and you're
I was
kind of like
giving
backing
I was
into
giving
it.
I was
If
giving
he
you the
refer-
example.
If he refers to his cousin Larry, what are we supposed
Right.
to do?
Okay,
Then
any
huh?
variation, take notes on this. Any variation of the word wife will count. So
Okay.
if he says wife, if he says my lovely, her first name, that counts, but it's definitely her who will love it
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So he did put an Instagram post out. Wow, what a journey it's been. A lot of emotions involved throughout the whole process, but always believed at the end of the day, God would put me in the right place. I do not mean this as a knock on one's religion, one's relationship with religion, but I'm going to guess that the extra $43 million that the Twins offered over 6 years guaranteed may have also played a part in this as well. Okay, Declan, what is your first prediction here?
I'll go with this one. At least 1 6 seed or 1 7 seed will win on Wild Card Weekend. So I'm giving 4. I have 4 cracks at this technically. So
Yeah.
obviously not a touchdown, but at least 1 6 seed or 1 7 seed in either conference will win on Wild Card Weekend. The
All right.
Giants, Seahawks.
So you're rooting for the Giants.
Ravens, Dolphins.
So now it's out there. You're rooting for the Giants
No.
on Sunday.
No. Not
But you wouldn't be sad if they won.
You're hedging your Vikings disappointment with a little bit of joy because you might get a write that down prediction.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay, write this down. I'll give you Vikings win here. One of these players will score a touchdown for the Vikings in this playoff game. I guess the spirit behind this is I think we're going to get back to some creativity in the red zone here. I think instead of just running it behind a third string center and crossing our fingers, we'll get some more jet sweeps. There's going to be some creativity. So either Johnny Munt, Jalen Reagor, or CJ Ham will score a touchdown in this playoff game against the Giants.
I like it.
Write it down.
I like what you're doing there. Deep
I think
red.
that's a home run because these guys have combined for 3 touchdowns all year. So
like it.
there'll be an obscure touchdown of some kind.
Write this down.
All right, now back to Ali. Give us your second prediction here, Ali.
Okay, I'd say Justin Jefferson gets in the end zone twice.
All right.
Okay. So it could be a rushing touchdown. Could be.
I was going to say that's the other
receiving
thing.
Touchdown. Could be.
I think they'll be both receiving, but we'll see.
Okay.
Off the
Could be-
record, though. So
Could
you're
be a
just saying he
punt
gets-
return touchdown in a moment of crisis late. You can never
That's what
know.
Moss did once, right?
Could be a
Didn't
pick six when all their cornerbacks get hurt and JJ comes in.
Didn't Moss get put in a game against the Chiefs in KC at one point to return punts and returned it for a touchdown?
Yeah.
1999.
There you go. You see?
That would be
JJ.
amazing. I like it. And if he does that, I think the Vikings have a really good chance of winning this football game.
Write this down.
Yes,
Right?
I think you're right.
Judd.
All right. I'm going to stay on the Carlos Correa prediction train. Carlos Correa will play at least 140 games for the Twins next season. Just for context, he played in 136 games in 2022. He'll play Dex in at least 140 in 2023.
Cool.
Okay.
Because I think he's fine right now, and I
He's
think
fine.
he's going to be out to prove I'm fine.
He's totally fine.
So before his legs
The
snaps
Twins
off,
doctors checked
he's
him
going to
out.
play in a lot of games,
Yeah.
140 games.
I think they need him at this point to enough with these random rest days. Okay, dude, he's in his prime. He's under contract. He's making $33 million a year. Run him
Well,
out.
if I am Joe Polette, I walk into Baldelli right now and say, you ain't resting him on Sunday afternoons at Target Field.
I've got news for you about Joe's personality. I don't think that's what's going to
No.
happen.
Write
Would
this down.
Joe like me to proxy for him?
You could send him an
Joe,
email.
what are you thinking?
Send him
We
an
What are
had,
you
email.
like-
thinking? You tell me. Hey, Derek, sit down, shut up, and listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying it for Joe.
I'll give you a little inside Go Radio logistics here during my time here. Every Friday we close the office down, quote unquote, at 3:00 for happy hour. So we always closed it down on Friday at 3 p.m. in the summer for happy hour. A little rest, relaxation, little R&R.
Joe sounds awesome.
So I don't think he's going to be putting his foot down to say he has to play Correa on Sundays.
What do you mean? Joe sounds like a great boss.
Oh, I loved it personally, but actually
Oh my
didn't
God! So
apply
you
to
guys
the,
would just go get tanked.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really apply to the Bring Me the News and sports writers and other news writers because news doesn't sleep. But yes, the office did technically close during that,
No, but
that
drunks
time
do.
period.
I think the Twins should do that once a week too. Just like, hey, we're not even going to play today. We're just going to let's
Rocco, go home.
Let's go to the
I'll
bar.
manage. I'll manage.
All right, Declan, what's your next prediction?
All right,
this
write it down. Vikings Giants right now is at 48.5 points for an over-under. I will say under. Vikings Giants will go under 48.5 points on Wild Card Weekend. Write it down.
Interesting.
Not a shootout is what we're predicting. Here.
Two offensive guys. Interesting.
I would love to see
I'd
just
love
like
to
a
see it.
42 to 38 kind of a situation. It would be a blast. All right,
Write this down.
write this down. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm trying to decide which ones I want to put on this show and which ones I want to put on Purple
Yeah.
Daily. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will beat the Dallas Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy will be fired within 10 days after that loss. Oh, let me say it within 2 weeks. I want to give him a chance, to plead his case with Jerry Jones.
You want to give Jerry Jones a chance to really get pissed off and just
Also,
fire us?
Sean Payton can't officially interview until January 17th, and so that's middle of next week sometime, right? It would be next Tuesday.
Who's
So it's
gonna
going to
coach-
play out.
Who's going to coach the Rams? Because it sounds like McVay's going to quit.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a rebuild, right? I mean, Matthew Stafford says he's coming back, but
Right.
they are
They have
they're
no
kind of,
first
they're
round
kind of
pick.
bleeped at this point. But it's worth it. They got their Super Bowl.
True.
So yeah, Bucks win and McCarthy gets fired sometime in the 2 weeks that follow. Jerry Jones went on some Dallas radio show for his weekly appearance this week, and they asked him, "Can anything happen in this game to cost Mike McCarthy his job?" And Jerry Jones kind of hemmed and hawed, no, nothing. Then he says, "I have plenty more to evaluate Mike McCarthy on besides this one playoff game."
Okay, that's awesome.
Which is a great way to yeah, I've got the boneheaded clown show at the end of last year's playoff game that I could evaluate him on.
Write this down.
All right, Ali, back to you. What is your third and final prediction?
Okay, I'm going to go on the diamond. I think the Twins will trade for a starting pitcher in the next 2 weeks.
Ooh,
Ooh.
almost sniped mine.
Okay.
I could see
Okay.
that.
Off the record, so this won't count. We won't hold you to this, but do you have any thought on who it might be? Will it be an ace? Will it be a number 5 guy? How splashy will they get?
I'd say 4 or 5. I don't think it's going to be an ace, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Michael Wacha could still sign in free agency too, and maybe be your number 5
Michael
starter
Wacha
for 120
is
innings.
So little for me. It's incredible.
Ali, thank you for coming on here. Since you've got this life-changing platform on Mackey and Judd, is there anyone you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment?
Yeah. Well, actually, my friend Dustin was on here a couple months ago. I talked to him, and he's like, "Oh, you could talk to Declan." So I was like, "Okay, I'll shoot my shot and thankfully Declan got back to me and brought me on, so I greatly appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
Dustin for the assist. Friend Dustin. All right, Ali, thank you. Good luck with your predictions and enjoy the Vikings-Giants game this weekend, man.
Thanks a lot.
See you later.
All right, boom. All right, boys. 3 more predictions here, starting with Judd.
All right. I'm going to put a Vikings prediction on this show as well, and write this down. The Duke of Shelley will have an interception against the Giants. He's going to pick off a pass. They're going to go at him, and he's going to pick off a pass. I think they're going to try to, just based on seniority and savvy, avoid Pat P a little bit. Just total guess. And Duke Shelley, for the second consecutive game, will have a pick as he goes about making a case for why he should be a starting outside cornerback for the Vikings in 2023.
Long term.
I mean, the more I watch, the more impressed I get.
How can you not?
I know.
Yeah.
It's Shelley Island, man. How can you not?
Island. Shelley Island is closed for winter. Gated community.
Shelley Island's a gated community?
Oh, God, yeah. It's top notch. That's what I said. It's got a golf course.
It's amazing. Okay, Declan, what's your third and final prediction?
All right, I'll make a Twins prediction after, my negativity on yesterday's episode of Carlos Correa. So I'll write this down. The Twins will sign or acquire a pitcher with at least 90 major league starts between now and the end of the month.
Okay.
So I'm trying to will them to get a legit starting pitcher between now and the end of the month. I'll quantify that as he has 90 major league starts. Pablo Lopez, by the way, has 94 major league starts. I had to double check that because I originally had this at 100. I did not want to get burned if Pablo Lopez ends up coming here. So I'll put it at 90 major league starts.
Is there like Pablo Lopez steam, or are people just kind of making that up as a...
Doogie threw some out, right?
Doogie threw some out. Also, the Marlins, they what I don't get here is, so they signed Johnny Cueto, who did have a really kind of randomly good year with the White Sox last year, and the Marlins brought him in. And now even, I think John Morosi yesterday said that Pablo Lopez would potentially be the odd man out, which is just wild to me that you would then sell high on a really good starting pitcher because you bring in Johnny Cueto. Regardless, though, if he's been on the trade rumor market before and he ends up coming here, I do want this to count. But yes, there is some steam that Pablo Lopez could be on the move.
Michael Wacha, 204 career
And yeah,
starts.
Wacha would, and also I think I have a Wacha prediction too, so it'd be a
Pablo Lopez would be an interesting one because 8 of his starts last year were 7 innings or longer, and he had 5 games. Let's see here. No, 8 games of which he threw 99 pitches or more. He had 100 or more 5 times. So would he fit in? Would he be allowed to pitch that long into games?
The Marlins stretched their guys out quite a bit for how baseball is played now, correct?
Yeah.
Didn't they have a pitcher who was a complete workworkhorse?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, I think they
I
did.
watched 0
Sandy
Marlins
Alcantara.
games.
Yes.
Sandy
Oh,
Alcantara.
Alcantara. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a good player.
He's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, but I mean, he was allowed to stay in games, which I objected to from afar. I kept saying, no, take him out. Go to that Marlins bullpen, Don Mattingly.
Yeah, Alcantara is another one. I don't know that they would. So I think they signed him to some sort of like team friendly contract. But if you could get that dude, that's a game changing starter. But I don't know that they have the prospect capital to make that happen anymore. Okay, so it's on me here. Final prediction.
Write this down.
It's kind of a Duke Shelley prediction. I think Cam Dantzler sees the writing on the wall a little bit here of what's happening. Like, they're probably going to bring Patrick Peterson back, and Duke Shelley, he's an unrestricted free agent, but those are your 2 best cornerbacks right now. Cam Dantzler, write this down, who hasn't tweeted since August. Sometime within a week after the Vikings lose in the playoffs, he will tweet something vague or cryptic. I think we're going to get a little... Because he's done that before, right? Or he'll send a little weird message out on social media.
So,
Yeah,
like,
he's
what are
done
the
it.
parameters of vague? Like what's
I'll leave it up to you. I will present what I think
Okay.
is a vague or cryptic
Okay.
tweet, and then you guys can tell me if
Because
it's
I mean,
vague or
he
cryptic.
could break up with the gal or something, and then that can cause cryptic tweets. And so, break up with your team,
Well, that would count.
break up with the gal. Yeah, I guess.
I'm leaving it open.
Yeah,
So you guys,
that's true. If you leave that open.
if I see one, I'll
Okay.
present it. I think if they get beat and, like, let's say they get to the second round or something, and the defense gets shredded and he's not part of it, I think
Okay.
he will think to himself, why am I not on the
So
field?
if it's vague or cryptic and he tweets something and it doesn't, and we're like not quite sure if it's the Vikings or not, it still counts though, because you're not putting it on. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be football.
And
It just likely would be football.
And cryptic could also be like, let's say someone tweets at him, man, why can't my guy Cam Dantzler see the field? You know, he would have made a difference. And he retweets it. To me, that's cryptic. He's retweeting criticism of
okay.
the team's decision to not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So some sort of
So
criticism.
if he tweets something like all things must pass, that counts.
That's very vague and.
But it
somewhat
might mean
cryptic.
all
Yeah.
quarterbacks must pass. We're not quite sure, but it counts. Okay.
If he just tweets like an emoji or something, like
That's
a skull
vague and
emoji,
cryptic.
you know, that's vague and cryptic. So I think he's in it. Yeah, I think he
All right.
logged off Twitter for the season, but now he's gonna be
hear you.
back. All right, that's your write that down session here on Mackey and Judd, the only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics, and we do the same thing football centric on Purple Daily. So we'll see you over there today too.